What is up, everyone? How are we doing today? Today is March 25th, Wednesday, 2026, and today I'm going to be going over today's price action, the one trade I took, and the other opportunity that I completely missed out on because I just got off the charts after my first loss, and I totally should not have done that. I should have totally marked this out and taken this. However, it is what it is. And actually, coming into the day, I really wasn't going to trade originally at all just because the higher time frame market conditions were looking very choppy and not really favorable. But without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so coming into the day, we are just not doing anything at all, right? We're just stuck in this range. We're not bouncing off of any gaps. What we do have is this bullish 4-hour candle right here that has a fair value gap in it. And we do have this 4-hour intermediate low. So maybe one idea could try to be targeting this low, whether it's coming down and retracing, taking continuation long off of that, or maybe if we just displace through this candle, displace through this fair value gap, then continuing shorter. But as you can see, we really don't have any major draws. And that is one thing that I am very, very stern with my model, is being able to identify the correct draws on liquidity. Because if you can't really do so, then I have no target, I have no goal, I have no conditions. So that is kind of like the make or break. And right now in our conditions, we are just like chop, chop, chop. It's like a barcode right now. And if I were to be bullish, I would be bouncing off of this and pushing higher. But if that wasn't the case, we also have a 4-hour bearish fair value gap right here with another 4-hour intermediate high here. So that was another draw on liquidity. So these two are my major range gaps. If we displace through this, maybe we can look for an inverse short. And actually, I'm not sure how far this is away. Yeah, that's still like 300 points and 300 points to the downside. So we still had a lot of room to go. But that's just like another conviction on why I really didn't want to trade, right? Our closest major draws are pretty far away. And these are something my model revolves around. So that's why coming into the day, I really wasn't trying to do anything crazy. But now switching onto the hourly chart, we can see we are a little bit more bullish here. We have this major fair value gap right here, and we are completely respecting it. We're generating this low resistance liquidity. So right now, what I want to see is this major intermediate low right here, this fair value gap. That's what I want to see get swept, and then I want to see a long after that. This is just a classic inner range move. We're just sweeping out our intermediate low and then trying to go off higher since we are still respecting this gap. And even closer, we're still respecting this 1-hour gap too, which right now we have this intermediate low, which we still did not displace through yet. I mean, it's only 10:15, so the market is still open. However, I'm just done for the day. This is my trading schedule. This is how I work. This is what works for me. You can trade whatever works best for you. This is just what gives me the highest win rate. So I was also looking for this to get swept, and as you can see, we just didn't end up sweeping it. So overall, I'm leaning slightly bearish. We're still in this bearish fair value gap and we are respecting it. So we could be pushing lower, maybe sweep out this low resistance liquidity down here, take this out, and then maybe retrace up. But there really isn't a lot of conviction. And one thing to note is that we do end up creating this bearish SMT. So as you can see, ES does not end up, or sorry, NASDAQ does not end up sweeping this high. But if we go to ES, we can clearly see it ends up getting swept out. So we have a bearish SMT and draws lower. So now I'm just looking for shorts. And what ends up happening is at market open, this is the 930 candle right here. We continue upwards, and right now I love for price to tap into a 5 or 15-minute gap, and that's exactly what ends up happening. We have this 5 and 15-minute gap, I believe. So right here we have our bearish gap, and I'm looking for this to get retapped into. We did end up creating an intermediate high, so I'm just waiting for this high to get swept through and then look for shorts off of that. And same thing on the 5-minute, as time is fractal and the same things repeat. So since we did not disrespect this gap and the only thing we did was create an intermediate high, I'm looking for that intermediate high to get swept and then take shorts off of that. And that is exactly what happens. Here's our 930 candle, and what ends up happening is that we sweep through this, we take out that intermediate high, and we are currently respecting this bearish fair value gap right here. So now I'm looking for shorts after we swept that. And on the 1-minute time frame, you can see we ended up pushing higher, we created this gap, and then the next candle displaces through a little. Now, this is where I had my entry, and this is where everything went wrong. Our displacement wasn't that strong. It still was displaced through, so I still took this trade. However, I had my entry right at this bottom of the candle, and I had my stop loss at the wick, and I was targeting this major swing low right here, all the way on this side. As you can see, I believe it was a 5-minute low too. Yeah, so this major swing low was my draw. And what ends up happening is we get the price to displace through, we enter in, price shoots up, and I had my stop loss at this candle. And what ends up happening is we take right through it, and price just shoots down completely. Now, this trade would have played out perfectly. I just had the wrong stop loss, and honestly, I don't know. Like, that just happens sometimes. I guess if I wanted to play more conservative, I could have just increased the risk and put it to the highest candle. But usually, I was pretty confident that price was just going to displace through, and we ended up getting stopped out, and then price plays out. So it happens, you can't do anything about it. But that was the first trade idea. And the second one was pretty much the same exact thing, just on a higher time frame. As you can see right here, instead of waiting for that 1 minute and taking it all the way up there, we ended up creating a 5-minute gap too. And this entry was a lot lower. As you can see here, we ended up pushing up, displacing, and the next candle displaced through. So if you were to take this position, enter right here, stop loss at this. And in this case, we ended up targeting this internal liquidity, which was just this major swing low right here. And what ends up happening, price takes that. We had our stop loss at that candle, and boom, that was just another clean trade, a 1 hour trade. Super clean, super simple. It was practically the same exact trade as that 1 minute I took. Oops. Practically the same exact idea, just on the 5-minute time frame compared to the 1 minute. And I can't believe I just missed out based on that tick, based on that stop loss. But whatever, it is what it is. Can't cry about it. And yeah, that's just the overall trade idea. It was super easy, super clean. I really wasn't going to trade today just because conditions were so choppy. Like, this really does not look appetizing at all. We really have no major draws, no clear targets or anything. However, just based on the SMT, based on that we were bearish for the day because we wanted to target that major low, that major liquidity, which was that 4 hour intermediate low, or sorry, the 1 hour intermediate low. I had enough conviction to take that short, and that's exactly what I did, but it got stopped out. And that just happens. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you gained some knowledge from this. I just want to be completely transparent with you. Not every trade I take is a win. Not every trade I take is a loss. Majority are wins though, which is a good thing. And in this case, it should have been a win, but we just got stopped out. Some unlucky circumstances. I should have moved it higher. I don't know why. Usually the body of the candle or that first manipulation down, or sorry, that first distribution candle down is fine. And maybe it was because we just didn't displace hard enough. So when I'm going to be journaling this trade, I'm going to make a note of that. Say, okay, maybe if we're not displacing as hard as I want to, then either I can lower the risk on the trade, or I can just move my stop loss a little bit higher, giving me more room for the trade to play out. But yeah, just always learn from your mistakes. It's one of the best valuable lessons with trading. You always have to see what you're doing wrong and how you can improve upon it. And this is exactly that situation. I saw I messed up. I didn't have my correct stop loss and I got stopped out. So I'm going to look at this information, learn from it, and do better next time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.